Isaiah 43. Do not fear. God knows your name. Stop for a moment. Breathe. Now hear this. Not as poetry, not as religious language, but as truth spoken directly over your life. Do not fear, for I have redeemed you. I have called you by name, you are mine. In Isaiah 43:1, this is not a motivational quote. This is not a vague promise thrown into the air. This is God speaking personally. And if you've been living in fear, fear of the future, fear of failure, fear of rejection, fear of not being enough, this chapter was written for you, because fear thrives in uncertainty. Fear grows when you feel unknown. Fear multiplies when you think you are alone. But Isaiah 43 destroys that lie. You are not random. You are not forgotten. You are not just another face in a crowd of billions. You are called by name. The God who formed the stars knows your name. The God who holds oceans in his hands speaks to you personally, not as a statistic, not as a background character, but as someone chosen. And here's the key: when you realize you are known, fear begins to lose its grip. Most people are terrified because they think they are navigating life alone. They think it all depends on them, their strength, their strategy, their performance. But Isaiah 43 opens with a declaration that shifts everything. You belong to God, and if you belong to Him, you are not at the mercy of chaos. You are not abandoned in the fire. You are not drowning in the waters. This message is not about pretending life is easy. It's about knowing who walks with you when it's not. Today we are going to step into this chapter, and I want you to listen as if God is speaking directly into your situation, because He is. Part 1. I have redeemed you. Your past is not your identity. The first words God speaks in Isaiah 43 are not instructions. They are not warnings. They are not corrections. They are identity. I have redeemed you. Before He talks about the waters, before He mentions the fire, before He says fear not, He says I have redeemed you. Redemption means you were bought back. It means you were not discarded. It means you were valuable enough to be pursued. Think about that. God didn't tolerate you. He didn't reluctantly accept you. He redeemed you. And here's what that means for you right now. Your worst mistake is not your identity. Your lowest season is not your definition. Your failure is not your future. The enemy loves to replay your past. He whispers, look at what you did. Look at what you became. Look at how far you fell. But redemption rewrites that story. When God says, I have redeemed you, He is speaking in past tense. It's finished. It's settled. It's done. You may still remember the shame. You may still feel the weight of regret. But heaven does not define you by your sin. Heaven defines you by your redemption. And this is where fear starts to crack. Because so much of your fear is rooted in your past. You fear you'll repeat it. You fear it disqualifies you. You fear God will change His mind about you. But redemption means your past no longer has authority over your identity. You are not the one who messed up. You are not the one who failed. You are not the one who ruined it. You are the one who was redeemed. There is a difference between being forgiven and living forgiven. Many believers accept forgiveness, but still carry condemnation. They pray but still feel unworthy. They worship but still hide. Redemption means you don't hide anymore. You stand knowing that the price has been paid. And if God paid for you, He's not walking away from you. So let me say this clearly. Stop introducing yourself by your scars. Stop narrating your life by your mistakes. Stop living as if grace is temporary. You have been redeemed, not partially, not conditionally, not temporarily, completely. And when you know that, deep in your spirit, fear begins to lose its voice. Because a redeemed person doesn't live trying to earn love. A redeemed person lives from love, and that changes everything. Part 2. I have called you by name. You are not a number. Let this sink in. I have called you by name, not by your mistake, not by your weakness, not by your diagnosis, by your name. The world labels you successful, failure, attractive, average, strong, broken. It reduces you to categories and comparisons. But God does not label you. He names you. There's a difference. A label can be stuck on anyone. A name is personal. When God says He has called you by name, He is saying, I know you specifically. I know your story. I know your fears. I know your dreams. I know what keeps you awake at night. You are not a face in a crowd to Him. You are not a statistic in heaven's records. You are known. Think about how powerful that is. Most people live terrified because they feel invisible. They fear being overlooked, replaced, forgotten. They work overtime trying to prove they matter. But you don't have to prove your worth to the one who formed you. He called you by name. Before anyone applauded you. Before anyone rejected you. Before anyone misunderstood you. He knew you. And here's the truth. When you know you are known, you stop begging to be seen. You don't chase validation from people who don't understand your calling. You don't collapse when someone ignores your value. You don't panic when doors close. Because your identity was never dependent on human recognition. You were named by God. In Scripture, when God names someone, it's never random. It signals purpose. It signals destiny. It signals belonging. Your name is not an accident. Your existence is not an accident. The same God who told Jeremiah, "Before I formed you in the womb, I knew you," is the same God speaking over you now. Fear whispers, "You're alone." God says, "I know you." Fear says, "No one sees your struggle." God says, "I call you by name." You may feel overlooked in this season. You may feel like you're shouting into silence. But heaven is not silent about you. You are known personally, intentionally, intimately. And when you truly grasp that, something shifts inside you. You stop living like a background character in someone else's story. You start walking like someone heaven recognizes. You are not random. You are not replaceable. You are not forgotten. You are called by name. Part 3. You are mine. Security in a shaking world. After redemption, after naming, God says something even deeper. You are mine. Read that again. You are mine. In a world that constantly shifts, where relationships change, where promises break, where stability feels fragile, this is your anchor. You belong to God. Not temporarily, not conditionally, not until you mess up. You are His. Now listen carefully. This is not ownership like the world understands it. This is not control. This is covenant. When God says, "You are mine," He is saying, "I take responsibility for what belongs to me." If you belong to Him, you are not unprotected. You may walk through storms, but you are not abandoned in them. You may face uncertainty, but you are not facing it alone. Belonging changes everything. Most fear is rooted in insecurity. What if I lose this? What if I'm left? What if I'm not enough? But if you belong to God, your security is not built on what you can maintain. It's built on who holds you. The world says, "You belong if you perform." God says, "You belong because I chose you." The world says, "Prove yourself." God says, "You are mine." That means your value is not up for negotiation. Your identity is not on trial. Your place is not fragile. You don't wake up every morning trying to earn His affection. You wake up already claimed, and that crushes fear. Because fear feeds on instability, but belonging creates stability. You are not drifting through life untethered. You are not spiritually homeless. You are not trying to survive without covering. You are His. When rejection hits, remember, you are His. When failure whispers, remember you are His. When anxiety rises, remember you are His. Belonging does not mean life will be easy. It means you are never outside of His reach. And if you are His, then no storm can erase you. No fire can redefine you. No darkness can claim you. You are not fighting for acceptance. You are living from acceptance. You are His. And when that truth moves from your head into your spirit, fear starts losing its authority over your life. Part 4. When you pass through the waters. God does not promise avoidance. He promises presence. Let's be honest. If we could rewrite Isaiah 43, most of us would change one word. We would want it to say, "If the waters come," or better yet, "You will never face the waters." But that's not what God says. He says, when you pass through the waters, I will be with you. When you walk through the fire, you shall not be burned. When? Not if. God never promised you a storm-free life. He promised you a God-filled life. That changes everything. Some of you have been secretly wondering, why am I going through this? Did I miss God? Did I do something wrong? No. The presence of water does not mean the absence of God. The presence of fire does not mean you were abandoned. He didn't say you wouldn't go through it. He said it wouldn't consume you. There's a difference. The waters may rise, but they will not drown you. The rivers may feel strong, but they will not sweep you away. The fire may burn around you, but it will not destroy who you are. Why? Because He is with you. And here's the truth. Fear grows when you focus on the size of the storm instead of the strength of the one walking beside you. Think about it. Peter only sank when he looked at the waves. Israel only panicked when they stared at the Red Sea. The 3 Hebrew boys were thrown into the fire, but they were not alone in it. Presence changes the outcome. If you measure your life by the intensity of your trial, you will live afraid. But if you measure your life by the faithfulness of your God, you will stand firm. God does not escort you to the edge of the waters and wave goodbye. He steps in with you. Right now, some of you are in deep waters. Financial pressure, family tension, private battles no one else sees. And the enemy is whispering, this will take you out. But God is saying it will not overwhelm you. The waters are temporary. His presence is permanent. The fire may refine you, but it will not define you. And here's the powerful part. Sometimes it's in the waters that you discover how real His presence is. You don't know He can sustain you until you are tested. You don't know He can carry you until you feel weak. You are not drowning. You are passing through. Read that again. Passing through. This is not your final destination. This is not your identity. This is not your end. The same God who called you by name walks with you through every current and every flame. So don't panic in the process. You are not alone in this. Part 5. You are precious in my sight. Heaven's value system. Now God says something that confronts your deepest insecurity. You are precious in my sight, honored, and I love you. Isaiah 43:4. Stop. Let that settle. You are precious. Not because of your performance. Not because of your achievements. Not because of how many people applaud you. You are precious in His sight. Do you know how many people live their entire lives trying to feel valuable? They compare. They compete. They exhaust themselves chasing worth. But God's value system is different. He doesn't measure you by your resume. He doesn't evaluate you by your popularity. He doesn't calculate your worth by your productivity. He calls you precious. That means treasured, valued, cherished. And here's where fear begins to collapse again. Because fear often grows from insecurity. What if I'm not enough? What if I'm replaceable? What if I don't matter? But if you are precious to God, you are not disposable. He does not discard what He treasures. He does not abandon what He loves. Some of you struggle to believe this because you know your flaws. You know your inconsistencies. You know your hidden weaknesses. But God knew all of that when He called you precious. He didn't discover your imperfections later. He wasn't surprised by your failures. And still, He says you are honored and loved. That means your value is rooted in His decision, not your perfection. The world says, earn your place. God says, you already have it. The world says, prove your worth. God says, I have declared your worth. When you live from that truth, you stop begging for approval. You stop shrinking in comparison. You stop letting criticism define you. Because heaven has already spoken over you. You are precious. That doesn't make you arrogant. It makes you secure. It means you can walk into rooms without fear of rejection. It means you can face challenges without questioning your value. It means you can stand steady even when others misunderstand you. And here's the deepest truth. If you are precious in God's sight, then your life has purpose. God does not treasure accidents. He treasures intention. You were created intentionally. You are loved intentionally. You are valued intentionally. So stop treating yourself like something ordinary when heaven calls you precious. Fear loses power when you know you are loved. Insecurity weakens when you know you are chosen. You are not trying to become valuable. You already are. And when that truth roots itself in your heart, you begin to walk differently, stronger, steadier, unafraid. Part 6. Fear not, the command that changes everything. Now we come to the command that echoes through Isaiah 43 like thunder. Fear not. God doesn't suggest it. He doesn't recommend it. He commands it. Why? Because fear will paralyze what faith is meant to move. Fear will shrink what God is trying to expand in your life. Fear will silence the calling that heaven placed inside you. And listen carefully. God would never command you to do something He has not already empowered you to obey. He says, fear not. Right after saying, I have redeemed you, I have called you by name, you are mine. In other words, because you are redeemed, you don't have to fear your past. Because you are known, you don't have to fear being forgotten. Because you belong to me, you don't have to fear the future. Fear is loud. It paints worst-case scenarios. It whispers, what if this falls apart? What if you fail? What if you lose everything? But fear is not your master. And here's the truth most people don't realize. Fear is not just an emotion, it's a voice. It speaks, it suggests, it predicts, but so does God. And you have to decide which voice gets authority in your life. Fear says, you won't make it. God says, I am with you. Fear says, you're not strong enough. God says, my grace is sufficient. Fear says, you're alone in this. God says, you are mine. The command to fear not is not denial of reality. It's a redirection of focus. It's not pretending storms don't exist. It's choosing to trust the one who controls the wind. Some of you have been living braced for disaster. You expect things to go wrong. You assume the worst. You prepare your heart for disappointment. That is not the life God called you to live. You were not created to survive in anxiety. You were created to walk in trust. Fear may knock on the door, but it does not get to live in your house. You can feel it and still refuse to follow it. You can acknowledge uncertainty and still choose confidence. Because courage is not the absence of fear. It is obedience in spite of it. When God says fear not, He is not minimizing your situation. He is magnifying His presence. You don't conquer fear by controlling outcomes. You conquer fear by remembering who you belong to. You are redeemed. You are known. You are His. So lift your head. You do not have to live intimidated by tomorrow. Part 7. I am doing a new thing. Your future is not clothed. Now listen to this carefully, because it will break the chains of hopelessness. Forget the former things. Do not dwell on the past. See, I am doing a new thing. Now it springs up. Do you not perceive it? Isaiah 43:18-19. God is not stuck in your yesterday. And you shouldn't be either. Some of you are afraid because you think your best days are behind you. You replay old seasons. You relive old victories or old failures, and you assume the story is finished. But God says, I am doing a new thing. Not I did. Not I might. I am. Right now. Even if you can't see it yet. Even if it feels like a wilderness. He says He makes a way in the wilderness and rivers in the desert. That means what looks empty to you is not empty to Him. What feels dry to you is not dry to Him. God specializes in impossible landscapes. Fear says, it's over. God says, it's beginning. Fear says, nothing will change. God says, watch what I'm about to do. But here's the key. You have to perceive it. You can miss a new thing if you're obsessed with an old thing. Some of you are holding on to old pain, old labels, old disappointments. And God is saying, let it go. I am not finished. The wilderness is not a punishment. It is preparation. The desert is not a dead end. It is a setup for a miracle. You may not see the river yet, but it is forming. You may not feel the breakthrough yet, but it is coming. God does not announce new things just to tease you. He announces them because He intends to fulfill them. Your future is not closed. Your story is not sealed. Your calling is not canceled. The same God who redeemed you, named you, claimed you, walked with you through waters, and declared you precious, He is still working. So don't let fear write the final chapter. Lift your eyes. There is movement in the wilderness. There is water in the desert. There is life where you thought there was none. He is doing a new thing, and you are not being left behind. Conclusion: walk forward without fear. You are called by name. Now step back and look at what God has said over you. I have redeemed you. I have called you by name. You are mine. When you pass through the waters, I will be with you. You are precious in my sight. Fear not. I am doing a new thing. This is not weak encouragement. This is a declaration of identity. You are not an accident surviving chaos. You are not a victim of random circumstances. You are not forgotten in a crowd of billions. You are known. You are claimed. You are loved. And if that is true, then fear does not get the final word in your life. Yes, storms may come. Yes, waters may rise. Yes, fire may surround you. But none of it changes who you are. You do not belong to fear. You belong to God. Stop walking as if everything depends on you. Stop shrinking because of yesterday. Stop expecting tomorrow to destroy you. Lift your head. The one who formed you calls you by name. The one who redeemed you walks beside you. The one who treasures you is not done with you. You are not fighting for identity. You are living from identity. So when fear whispers tonight, answer it. I am redeemed. I am known. I belong to God. He is with me. I am precious. He is doing something new. This is not denial. This is faith. And faith is stronger than fear. Walk forward. Not cautiously, not anxiously, but confidently. Because you are not lost. You are not alone. You are not abandoned. You are called by name. And that changes everything.